Present.
Dennis Johnson. Emily Pearson.
Present.
Rhonda, is your microphone on?
Well, yes, it is.
All right, we have a quorum with four of the 5 members present. Moving on, do we have any additions or amendments to the agenda?
I do, sir. I'd like to remove the budget and excess levy appeal from the budget public hearing and excess levy appeal. Remove that from the agenda.
All right, and then I'm going to add the opioid agreement to new business.
And I will revisit, I have re-advertised the budget for the October 7th and then the adoption on the 21st.
Okay, we'll reiterate that when we hit the...
Thank you.
Any other additions or amendments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
So moved. Emily Pearson.
Motion, have a second?
Second, Eric Hayden.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. Moving along to the approval of the prior minutes. Anybody have any questions, revisions to the prior minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the prior minutes for September 2nd, Town Council meeting minutes for September 2nd, 2025.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go there. Moving on to the claims. Has everybody had a chance to review the claims? The claims also include a carryover for pay application 14 for Reynolds in the amount of $581,299.10. So please be aware of that. Any questions, comments on the claims? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved, Eric Hayden.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pay the bills, Ms. Gary. Moving along to Economic Development Report. There's nothing to report at this time. Mr. Freeman.
Council, good evening. No, nothing from stormwater at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal Counsel, Mr. Colt.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Cicero Jackson Township Plan Commission Report, Mr. Zawodzki.
Evening, council, nothing at this time.
Mr. Strong.
Nothing at this time, sir.
Do you have anything anywhere else?
I will cover it under the CCMG and under the rezone.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Moving right along, Town Engineering Report, Mr. Bryant.
Good evening. Yeah, it's hot. Good evening, everybody.
Is your mic on, Keith?
Yes, can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Related to wastewater, Reynolds continues to work on the wastewater plant. They did get the sludge press. We're still awaiting a tank, conveyor, and controls for the sludge press so they can get that installation going. We have a meeting tomorrow, or a weekly meeting, but last week they thought that hopefully that stuff would be shipped this week. So hopefully we get it next week, my recollection. So hopefully we get that done. In the meantime, they've been moving ahead with oxidation ditch, headworks, and clarifiers. They've started up and had the equipment reps check out the equipment, so everything's ready to get started on that when we can switch over the plant. The only other thing was the pay app 14, Joe, that you referenced. That was tabled the last meeting, I believe. I just wanted to make sure that we understood what you guys wanted us to do with the pay app moving forward. If a couple of issues, if we don't have enough time to review it the way it's been set up now, do we we can have that discussion with Reynolds and try to get it to the council a week earlier or something like that, if that would be helpful.
I think it's fine. We just needed time to review it.
Okay, because we normally get it Tuesday or Wednesday before the following week's meeting, and then we try to jump on it. We review it, and we usually back and forth, and it's usually Wednesday or Thursday before we have a final copy, and that's when we try to email it and get everybody as much notice as possible at that point. But like I said, we could back that up a week if you'd like us to.
No, you're fine. We're not doing it.
Okay.
We just wanted to take a little time to review it.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve paying pay application 14 to Reynolds.
Motion is second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Technically, it was already approved, but double the pleasure, right?
No, we approve these individually.
But we don't have to. It's on the claims. Doesn't matter.
They will probably ask tomorrow, is the plan moving forward, do you think, to not approve it on that first Tuesday, or is that?
I guess the question we had is how many companies get paid. I mean, what's the net
That
payment
is
term?
very fast for a municipality to pay. there's no doubt about that. You guys looked at the contract. We basically have 30 days per the contract. It doesn't define very well. It says 20 days from submittal. It doesn't define, in my view, the 30 days would start probably when we have a final document that we can recommend and we send it to the town. That's probably when the 30 days would start. I think we initially discussed paying them as quickly as possible, because with this being a bot agreement, if there are any costs incurred from their suppliers or subs, they theoretically can charge us for that. So yeah, we can make money in interest, but we might be losing more money with things that they could charge us for because of the bot agreement and how it's set up.
I mean, I wanted to look at a few things.
I mean, yeah, given some of
We've
the
been-
charges,
We've been
like to
pretty
take the
good up to
time.
date about turning payment.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Okay,
This project will continue through the spring
yes.
with Reynolds? I mean, my overarching observation, which has nothing to do with this project, is that I think we should pay our bills in like net 30, but that's more of a global council issue, not a Reynolds
Well,
issue.
I don't think it'd be unreasonable to,
Yeah.
you know, to wait until that following Tuesday at all, because that still gets them getting paid probably 17, 18 days after submittal, which is still really good. I just want to make sure you understand there could be some other costs, and I don't know if there will be. I have no idea. But with the way the bot agreement, if this was a conventional bid, we paid him 30 days, it's a lump sum, there is no chance of that. But with the bot agreement, it's a little different animal, so.
And we'll work to expedite payment. I had a few questions I wanted to work through.
Do you have any other questions on the wastewater plant or anything on that subject matter? Okay. West Jackson Street, you'll notice that they were here working today. They're looking to pour the concrete out here tomorrow. I sent you an email over the weekend with some scheduled things. I did talk to Jason Gasaway today with Midwest Paving. He clarified a couple of things, but he's checking to see when they can get their mill equipment in to mill the road, but they're pushing to potentially mill and pave next week, but we don't know that for sure. He's going to let us know in the next day or two so we could get everybody noticed, but we may get the paving done next week though.
So then who reaches out to NDOT because the loops at the stoplight aren't working? Will you do that? Will they do that?
They do that. Their electrician has to coordinate with NDOT. Is that because of something they did or just quit working?
No, they haven't been working for a long time.
Oh, okay. Well, they're going to have to remove them. They coordinate with NDOT and they remove them and then put them back. So it'd be a good opportunity. I didn't know they weren't working.
Yeah, so I had a discussion with NDOT a while ago. So if we can just make sure that they coordinate with NDOT. Both
Okay.
the east side and the west side do not work. So
Okay.
NDOT was gonna deal with the east side, and when they pulled the west side up, they were going to work that as well.
Okay. And I'd be glad to talk to NDOT if you know who that was you talked to. If you have that information, you want to send it to me, I don't
So I
mind.
got a ticket created, I'll have to send you the ticket.
Okay, if you
So
send
if
it.
you just call they know, if you just call the, whatever that number is, where you file an issue or whatever, we can talk after this if you want, I can try to find it.
Okay. So they're looking at hopefully they'll get the paving done, they think in the next week or so. They'll start to do striping, so shortly thereafter, they'll get their striping sub in here, parking spots, center lines, things like that get placed in. We might want to talk through a few things on that, but I know at the pre-construction, or the meeting we had, the Italian restaurant asked if we could put an ADA spot in there, so we have to decide whether we want to move any of those ADA parking locations around, but it's a couple of questions we may bring back to you before that happens. Then he's still trying to confirm when the rail will come out here. He said as of today, he ain't got an answer from his supplier / subcontractor. They install it too, but we're still working on to find out when that schedule will happen. And Morphe's working on finishing up the lights. Of course, they can't finish the circuit here until they pour the concrete, which they're going to do tomorrow. And they are looking at the globes, and we've notified them that they need to be replaced.
is there any pushback on that?
Not yet, no. We basically sent them the change order with all the documentation and the references out of the contract, and I mean, I think it's black and white that they didn't provide what was in the change order, so.
So it's not just a clear globe either, it's that piece inside.
They're
That
look-
does
I've
nothing but,
I've asked them, yeah, well, except if you look at them, kind of breaks off. If you notice, it's not the handiest thing to have if you drive down across the causeway. They tend to break easy, so we may have to decide whether we really want to put that diffuser in there,
yeah, I think
but they're
so.
supposed to check into it and get back to
Okay.
us on that too, so. And then the only other thing they're talking about is starting the sod installation with the weather better come October 1st, so, I mean, that won't take them very long. They'll probably get that down in a day, so. So hopefully, by the time the next meeting rolls around, we'll have most of this project done. I'm sure there'll still be some punch lists and some finish up items, but if we get the paving done, that, and the concrete work done, that'll be a big part of it. Any questions on Jackson Street? Okay. The 2025 community crossings, that of course is Morris Landing Drive where we're milling to Lions Wood where we're milling and filling there, and then we're also widening the roadways up here on the northeast corner. We had the pre-construction meeting with DC Services, the selected contractor, the low bidder for that today, and they are looking at doing that work, mobilizing and doing that work, tentatively scheduled now for the week of October 20th, and they claim they'll get all of it done in a week. So I think that's being a little aggressive, but we'll see. And you know, they know that we have to have notice and let people know in advance, so you know, there's a possibility it could bump up a little earlier than that, but that's where we're at right now, so.
Can we make sure we keep some eyes on that project,
Mhm.
just from a quality standpoint, please?
Yeah, we get, especially, the only part why we want to make sure they do their widening part right is what we want to make sure as far as they get the subgrade in correctly in the stone, but. You know, somebody, Scott with our office has worked with them before, and their references, the people we've checked with, they've got nothing but glowing responses about them, but we'll still keep an eye on them.
Thank you.
Community, we could talk about Morris Landing Drive, that's a stormwater project, the under drain. We're looking at, I think I reported last time, we're looking at, based on schedule, and moving that to actually advertise in December and receive bids in January. Looks like we're looking at either the 14th or 15th of January, so that'll get them geared up to be able to go in there, if weather allows, in February, cut the drains in, and then be ready to pour concrete and pave immediately thereafter, so.
You said you would start when?
Well, we're looking at bidding in mid-January, so it depends on the weather, but I suspect they could, if the weather cooperates, they could start in February as far as putting the pipe in, and then be ready to pave. There might be some paving, patching, we don't know for sure, because there's some unknowns. You know, we start digging right next to the road there, but we do have to pour curbs, so we need some decent weather. So to answer your question, Eric, probably start in February, could be March.
Okay.
Just depends on weather, really, and the temperatures. I believe that's all I had on the agenda, unless somebody had some more questions for me on anything else.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Bryant?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
All right, moving along to new, hold on, sorry, old bid. I almost did. I got you. Mr. Strong?
Good evening, Council. So we have on the agenda this evening, Community Crossing Matching Grant, and as you know, we've talked about that for probably a couple of months of whether the council wants to move forward with a project, or since there's some changes with the legislatures, needless to say, we have the opportunity one time a year moving forward, so we would have the application process opens October the 1st and would end October 31st, so we have a short window to submit for 2026, and then next year the cycle will go into July as it has in the past, and you'll have an opportunity at that point for 2027. So looking to the council for some guidance, whether we have a project that we'd like to pursue for 2026, and if so, which project that might be. And needless to say, that is an 80-20 matching grant. The past cycles have been 75-25, and they have changed that to an 80-20. So
So Terry, on your scale, what's the worst area for paving?
Well, I would like to finish up, from Pearl to the Causeway, which would be Main Street or to the Causeway. But then you also have East Jackson that is, breaking down pretty good also. So chances are, you probably wouldn't be able to do both projects with maximum grant.
So to me, I'm not ready to take on until we understand the intersection at Main and Jackson.
I'd agree.
Um,
I'm not actually ready to take on the match, so.
if, I mean, for me, I think it would make sense to look at East Jackson because it's broken down pretty well. That's, I mean, we talked about Morris Landing West also, we talked about Stillwater Cove, but East Jackson gets used.
It's
And
critical
those are
area.
separate funds.
Yeah, it is, you're right.
If it does help, I ran some rough budget numbers after Dan and Terry and I talked this afternoon. East Jackson, if we mill and put in 2 inches or 2.5 inches of intermediate and 1.5 inches of surface, redo the striping, I mean, you're looking at about $300,000 probably, just to give you
A
an idea.
match?
Total.
Okay.
So it's not like we're not redoing the lights, we're not doing sodding, we're not doing curves, sidewalks, so it's kind of give you a ballpark of what that project would be.
So 60K out of local roads and streets or NVH or something?
What's that?
And you would fund that out of your funds, correct?
I would say if it's 300,000.
No, you
No,
would
no,
have
no.
60, you would have 60.
That's what I'm saying, 300,000, we can fund that out there.
So I think my proposal would be to look at East Jackson.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with
And
that.
then maybe in the July cycle, we look at east of.
Is there only one cycle now?
Yes, so they went to one cycle a year.
Just one a year now?
Yes. In the past, it's been 2. Typically, they were in the spring and then they had one in the fall. But with the latest bills that went through the House and the Senate, they changed to that one time a year.
Terry, you said 60 you think you could cover from your budget.
Yes.
Is there much more than that in your budget that could help?
Depends on how far you cut it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd say
I'm
no.
already looking at, some substantial cuts in my paving. So
that's
I
fine.
guess
No, that's fine. I was just trying to understand if there was much more headroom there. It sounds like there's not.
Probably not. With the cuts that it looks like, council's looking at.
The last 2
That's
years.
fair. Thank you.
Last
Yeah.
2 years, you kind of held off on your projects. We're working on West Jackson Street, correct?
Correct.
So that's where all your budget's gone, really.
Right.
Where would that start at roughly? Like what intersection would that start at on the east side?
So I'm going to guess it would start at State Road 19 and
Okay.
run to the city limits. Is that what you're proposing, if I'm not mistaken?
That's why, when I ran those rough numbers, it would be the corporate limits, which just passes the town building. That's roughly Dan,
Correct,
at the town building.
yes. And slightly past Catherine Street there.
To me, that makes sense.
I like it.
That section needs it.
If it's coming from different funds, not the general fund, I'm good.
That
So
seems to,
I think that's, look at that and see.
okay, that seems to be the consensus of the board. So we'll get to work on putting everything together and prepare to get ready for the application process. And we'll keep you updated as we move forward.
Awesome.
And then I think for the July one, let's start early next year and see what we want to work on. I would say
Okay,
high potential is going west from here.
we would appreciate that, so thank you for that.
Well, you have to keep it on our schedule.
Yeah. Any questions or anything from you at this point? Okay, thank you, council.
Thank you, Dan. Rhonda, did you want to update anything?
The new date for the budget hearing and the excess levy appeal will be at the next council meeting on October 7th. I will ask Ben to also adopt the excess levy appeal, but the adoption of the budget will have to be the following meeting at October 21st. And I'll turn my mic on now.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Gary.
Thank you.
Moving along to new business, we have a rezone ordinance number 09-16-2025-01 to rezone a parcel currently zoned as R5 Old Town Residential to NC Neighborhood Commercial. Mind stating your name and your address?
My name is Tom Monroe, I'm at 700 Iron Bridge, is this right?
Fire away.
Better.
It's hard to remember, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. We bought the property at 299 North Peru Street, the corner of Peru and Flanagan a couple years ago. And we've done some renovation. We'd like permission to zone it commercial, so we can use the front of it and do retail and stuff.
Sure. It looks very nice. You've done a nice job with it.
Yeah, it does look
Thank you.
nice.
Well, this was heard from the planning commission and received a unanimous favorable recommendation.
Yeah. It fits the area. Frank, do you have any comments on it?
I just wanted to add that the planning commission had a couple of conditions attached. Not to put a service station there, a utility substation, or a recycling collection point. All other permitted uses would be allowed. And so what the planning commission suggested as a part of the approval, it'd be conditioned that he record that,
Okay.
and that would be a written commitment.
All right.
So which portion of the building, are you using most of the building currently?
I'm using all of it right now.
Okay, but part of it you would potentially lease out to someone else, or no?
It's a possibility that at some point in time that could happen, but right now, that's not the objective.
Comments?
That's an blank commission.
Oh, yeah, you do. Okay.
It's the right thing.
I'm good with it. Yeah, good with it.
I'm good with the planning
I
commission's
make the motion to
recommendation.
approve with the conditions stated by Plan Commission Director.
I'll second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 09-16-2025-01 to rezone a parcel currently zoned as R5 Old Town Residential to NC Neighborhood Commercial has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Aaron, was that satisfactory, incorporating his conditions?
Yeah, and in the actual ordinance, I included those conditions.
Thank you.
now.
And he has a copy of the commitment letter that he will get reported.
Okay.
So he's reviewed it and came out of the planning department, so it is prepared and ready to go. And we'll probably take care of that over the next couple of days. He has 30 days to do so.
Okay.
The property looks really nice. Thanks for investing there.
Very nice.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to jump around a little bit here. S&P engagement letter.
This is in connection with the bond sale that we're planning, S&P. Based upon the feedback we've gotten from Baker Tilly, they believe that we could get a better interest rate if we have the bond rated. And so this is the fee agreement to have it go through the rating agency.
Okay. Has everybody had a chance to look that document over?
Do we pay out of bond proceeds, or what do we pay out of? Anybody know?
I believe we'll pay out a bond proceed, but I'm not 100% because we've never had a bond rated before. So
Okay,
normally everything comes out of the proceeds at the
right.
end.
Rhonda, that charge will come out of bond proceedings, correct?
I don't know, honestly, I've not been informed.
And I'd have to ask Jason Simler if we need to do that.
I
know
assume
they
it
just want us
can.
to
I'd be
approve.
surprised if it couldn't.
I
Yeah.
agree.
That's usually how bonds are done. They know
Right.
that they get paid when it's issued.
I mean, all those fees come out, all the attorney fees come out of it, so.
All right. So basically, we don't need to approve my signature or anything. It's just an email from Rhonda. So do we just
No,
need to,
we need to just say you can sign.
just a consensus, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing
Well,
to sign.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll
There's nothing
second.
to
So
sign.
you don't have to
No, she just sends an email.
go. Make a motion to let Rhonda send the email and
Thank
move forward.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That was a tough one. All right. Moving on to the opioid. What this is there's a new opioid settlement out there that just needs a signature, a DocuSign e-signature. I just wanted your blessing to sign that for opioid disbursement.
Good.
Good, good. Good about it. We don't need a motion, so we're good. All right, moving on to ISO. Chief, you want to kind of go over everything?
Sure. Would you like me to put it on the screen? Is that what you're doing there?
If you want to.
It's up to you.
No, go ahead, that's fine. So as council knows, back in March, we went through an ISO audit. John Beard, the gentleman who's the representative for ISO came in, and one of the initial comments he made to us was, if you can't respond 4 firefighters on the initial alarm, you go to an automatic 10. For everyone in the audience, the rating is 1 to 10, with 10 being the worst and 1 being the best. At the time we had the audit, we were a class 4, and according to the spreadsheets and things that we had built as a group and prepared for this meeting, we were going to be a class 3, which is very respectable. Unfortunately, we did not meet the 4 firefighters responding on initial alarms. We received a letter June 25th from ISO stating such, and they put us at a class 10, but they haven't published the number yet. So we entered the retrogression program. We've been working since then on a plan, several plans, to facilitate the movement from a 10 back to a 5 is where they would put us at. We discussed it the other night at the staff meeting. We went through 3 different programs that were presented, and we're just hoping to facilitate and move forward at this point.
Which we do have the plan in place, which is essentially option 2. Would you mind walking?
Sure.
What that
So
includes?
option 2 basically hires 3 firefighters. We'll plan to hire the first one in October and the last 2 sometime between then and the end of the year. And it also expands our part-time program to an additional position. So that would give us 6 people on station. We're going to open up the part-time to EMT onlys and medic onlys, which will give us another pool of people to bring in, and those folks would be assigned to the ambulance itself.
So basically, we're fully staffed, keep all service
Correct.
in place.
That's the plan at this point. I met with staff today to start the implementation of the plan. We didn't go very far with it other than to discuss what we're going to be doing as far as staffing and all of that. And once we get this signed and get it to ISO and get their approval that the plan is accepted, then we can start moving forward with those items.
Okay. All right. Comment?
Yeah, I have comments. So, first of all, I was a liaison over 2023 and 2024, worked with Lance. All information at that time was, like Lance mentioned, we were going from a 4 to a 3. There are multiple people within the fire department that are participants within the assessment itself. Lance and I, shame on me for not doing more due diligence. I thought we were good. Everything that we understood as we were moving forward with a 4 to a 3. There was a lot of effort and work put in, good work put in to get there. And probably shouldn't have taken us by surprise, but it took us by surprise about this rating. In the past, so 2017 was the last rating. We were at 3.24 manpower out of our our staffing. At that time, we had a volunteer fire department. We got credit for 6 heads, and we also got credit for 2.2 heads of, I'm going to call it mutual aid. It's called something different. So in our 2025, we are at 2.86 full-time staff, or credit for 2.86. 0 volunteer firefighters. We dissolved the volunteer fire department, and we got credit for 0 mutual aid. What's it called?
Automatic aid.
Automatic aid, thank
Yep.
you. That's because Noblesville is still present, but they cover roughly 50% of our town. The other side is Jackson Township, and there's questions on distance, but also they're facing similar issues that we are. So that's a little bit of the background. So I was liaison. If there's blame it on me. So, so I've had several calls over the last few days, and honestly, I appreciate those people that call, that want to take a vested interest and provide real options, have real discussions, instead of blasting stuff out with no idea what in the heck's going on. So I appreciate those calls, and I really respect those people that take the time out of their day to put effort into calling and having real discussions. So those have been good discussions. The town council does our due diligence. We had a meeting with ISO over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and there was a large group of people that that sat in on that call. Maybe we should reconsider that in the future. And we had a good discussion with our ISO retrogression person. So it was a good discussion, and there was a lot that came out of that to think about. So we had some discussions there. Now, it wasn't a public meeting. It was limited to a small group. So there were 2 council members present during that meeting. But we took good information out of there. We don't make these decisions lightly. So then at the staff meeting this past, I mean, we wouldn't be doing our due diligence if we didn't throw any and all options out there. So I've heard some feedback from the phone calls. That's why I mentioned that we were taking ambulance service out. Heck yeah, it was an option. We weren't doing our due diligence if we didn't throw any and all options on the table. This is a $1 to $1.3 million difference in our budget, which takes us up to roughly 68% of our general fund. So we have to discuss any and all options. So it's unfortunate the data is misconstrued and taken out of context, but I'm not apologetic for having any discussions of what options we may have or we need to look at. That's me. I base my decisions on hard facts and after discussions of what is possible, what's not possible. So that takes us to what this proposal is. We believe it's a challenge from our budget standpoint. I mean, there's just hard decisions that have to be made. It's going to impact the town. What services do we want and do we not want? I just mentioned 68% of our budget is now going to the fire department of our general fund. That's a pretty significant portion. So there are hard decisions that have to be made. So, Chief, my first question to you is, what does it take? We have an ambulance on order.
Mm-hmm.
What would the fees be to cancel that ambulance? That is $450,000 to $475,000.
I reached out to the provider, PennCare, today via email, and the response I got back from the sales rep was he'll have to check because he never got that question before.
Okay, so I appreciate that feedback. So that would be one avenue to partially fund 1 year. I mean, the problem is, how do you maintain this deficit over multiple years? So that's something that we have to work at, and figure out. So we have funds to cover a year, maybe 2 years, based on how the money's allocated. So this plan is put in place, and we have some ideas how we're going to fund it, at least a good portion of it, but I would really like to know that, because it's clear that manpower and the ISO, from ISO guidance, is key, not so much the equipment. So, and then this is just me personally. I think it's a very sad day when there are, and I got to tell you, I'm absolutely sick of it, when there are personal attacks made on people that sit on different boards. What I can tell you is this board is dedicated, whether you agree with it or not, trying to make Cicero a better place. We spend countless hours trying to make Cicero a better place. We don't have to agree on what that looks like, but to make pointed comments about specific people on the board is ridiculous. It shows character not of this board and not on the majority of the people out here, but of the people sitting back and making those silly comments. So I am tired of it in general. Have at me, bring it on. For me, it doesn't matter. I'll deal with it. But I just want everybody in here, those comments that go out, I don't read social media, so I heard this secondhand. But those comments that go out do no good. Have a real discussion. If you really want to be involved, have a discussion with the council members. We will listen. We will have a discussion. We may not agree on what the future looks like, but let's have a real discussion and try to come up with real solutions. And just blasting stuff out there and making everyone's life difficult and getting everyone upset. So I'm off of my high horse. It's a sad day. It really is.
Appreciate that, Eric. Rhonda, would you like to go through the funds, some of the comments on Facebook Financial regarding our financial situation were not true. about what was available, so I think it's important to describe what the money actually is and how it can be used, as there are permitted uses, and it's not just the slush fund.
Okay, I sent you, guys, a use,
I got it.
funds used,
He's
can you
gonna
put
pull it
that
up.
up there?
Yep, I sure can.
I got it.
I sent a couple of different spreadsheets to the council today. One is for the use of funds. I know I was told, I too do not listen to, read social media for that reason. But somebody said we have $11 million. We do. But,
This is, what is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, this is what the money can be used for.
It was-
yeah, this is what money can be used for. Just because we have $11 million, it's split up into funds. We have a general fund, and I'll just touch the big ones, the general, and he'll bring that up shortly. But you can only use monies for certain amounts, and that's not set by me, that's set by these guidelines. There's certain reasons you can use the general funds. Community crossings, CCI, CCD, cumulative, MVH, that's motor vehicle highway, that can only be used for roads. Local roads and street, that one, it can only be used for roads. There's just so many funds, but you can't use everything to fund it. And the general account consists of the clerk treasurer's office, the fire department, police department, planning department, project coordinator, and the town council. That's not our water and sewer, those are separate funds as well. And you can't use those funds in between, you can't transfer those funds from one fund to another. So it's very strict guidelines on what you can use these funds for. So if you go then, there's a
That
fund.
budget is roughly 4.5 million for, roughly 4.5 million for 2025 and 2026.
2026, I just increased it to 5.5 to accommodate an extra 500,000.
Well, no, our revenue source.
Oh, revenue source, yes.
Our revenue source is roughly 4.5 million.
4.5 million is what and our budget is, 5 million, so, we do pad a couple lines for just reasons to help the employees if, and I don't even know if you care about, no, but
But we did take most of that out in this budget.
we did, because we just had an extra, like for health insurance in case an employee spouse loses their job and they need to go on ours. Because this is a significant difference from an employee-only plan to an employee with family. So we padded a couple of lines, but not much. But we took out all the padding for next year, and we're still at 5.5 million with a revenue of 4.5. And that's just an estimate. I don't know what SB1 is going to do and how that's going to impact our budget. So we were trying to be a little more conservative, but that's about as far we could get it. So, like I said, the general fund, I just told you what I was on about. Cumulative capital fund plus CCI and CCD, those are pretty much, you can use those for anything. But those are not the only one, but those don't generate a lot of revenue. Let's see, CCD is a lot. We can use it for police and fire vehicles. That's not the only place you can get that money from. We have the water and sewer, stormwater. Once those, when you see on your bill, those are divided into those funds and they go strictly into those accounts. But that's the only place you can use them is for those specific items. So we do have $11 million, but like I said, $4 million is wastewater, $3 million is water, and I think the general account fund has about $4 million. When you got a $4.5 million budget, you got to be real careful because it's just like your checkbook at home. If you start the year off and you get paid once a month and you don't get paid until the 14th or 15th, you got to have money to pay those bills before you get that first paycheck. So you can't spend all the money down in the fund or you don't have any money to start the next year. So just a little bit of history. This part of our resources we get quarterly. Some of them we get monthly. Some of them we get twice a year. So you kind of got to balance when you're going to get those funds and so you'll know when you can use them. Okay, so those are the funds that we have and those are the general uses of them. So do you have the funds? And here's a list of the things. Just go all the way to the bottom, the last page. And you see there, it looks like we got a lot of money, $25 million. But if you go to the very top now and you start pulling out those funds that you can't really use, the general fund is the only fund we can use to fund those general
expenditures.
Yeah, well, for the police, the fire, that's the only place we can take those funds from. We can't take them from MVH, local roads and streets, MVH, Parks has their own fund. Everything we do in town has its own fund, and I'm always an open book. If you're ever interested and want to know what do you pay with that, give me a call, we can talk about it. Scroll to the next page. And you can see there's our TIF funds. Those are big accounts. We have big expenditures coming out of those. But everything, stormwater, ambulance, festival, payroll's a big one. That's a huge, scroll down to the bottom of payroll to see what payroll gets into. Only keep the payroll has a lot of $900,000 for payment. That's what we send out for $1 million payroll. So when you got those kind of expenditures coming out of the general fund, it doesn't leave a lot of fluff in there. I just thought it would be nice if you guys could see where the money is. Just because there's that much money in there, doesn't mean that you have that kind of money to spend. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. You can scroll down and show water and here's
water and
water.
sewer is where the
Here's
majority of
water,
that money
3
is,
million,
correct?
wastewater, 4 million. What somebody saw was the total amount of funds that the town has, but it doesn't mean it has it in that fund that you can spend it in to fund the money needed for the additional firefighters. So I hope that helps give you a little bit of an idea of where the money comes from, where it goes, and how it can be used. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Rhonda. So as you can see, we got a pretty big whack we're taking next year. It's necessary. It is what it is, and we'll work through it. But talk to us, please, instead of believing everything you see online, because the real information is there. We've never said no to anybody that's reached out to talk to us. So come to the source, please.
I'd like to add. The other thing is, I know people think, oh, it would just be so easy to take the money from Terry and the street department. They don't need that much money. Well, it doesn't do us any good to have good equipment and firefighters if they can't get down the streets because no one's there to patch the holes or plow the roads. So it is really difficult decisions we have to make. And the other thing I wanted to say is our fire chief has worked hours and hours and hours on this, giving us different plans. He knows how important this is. And people need to go above and beyond thanking him because he's getting ready to retire. But he has put his heart and soul into helping us resolve this issue and worked countless hours. And we really need to take time out to thank him for all the work he's done. So thank you, Lance.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And the other thing is, Mrs. Gary has gone above and beyond. She is the keeper of the funds. And so when we get these brilliant ideas to take money from one place and put it somewhere else, she'll tell us you can't do that. You might be able to do this, but you can't do that. She keeps us on track, and we have got excellent, excellent reviews due to her diligence when they come in and audit us, the state. So
Thank you.
So thank you for your good work, Rhonda.
Thank you, Emily. Anybody have anything else before we move on?
I'll go real quick. Just a couple things. Yes, agreed. Chief, thank you for all your time. And I know we've had some of the firefighters in the audience, and we've had lots of discussions. They were at our last meeting as well, and appreciate everybody trying to help solve a really difficult problem. I think my two observations are, one, as I've reflected on this over the last few weeks, I feel like we are tasked with essentially putting a puzzle together, but then there's like an extra piece or two, and there's like no room for it. So we're basically tasked with something that's very, very hard, if not impossible. But as Eric reflected, we're all taking this as incredibly seriously and trying to make the best decision we can. My other observation is whatever we decide, and I don't know what we're going to decide, Chief has prepared a document for us, and maybe that's what we'll adopt, I don't know. But whatever we decide, from my perspective, we're at the beginning of this issue. We have to continue to work on fire, and we have to continue to work on emergency services in this community to make sure that we are being financially responsible, but also providing the services that our citizens and our property owners deserve and expect. So we will continue. Whatever happens tonight, all I can say for myself is I'm committed to continuing to lean into the issue to figure out what is it we can do over the next 30 days, 90 days, year to improve those situations, both financially and from a service perspective. And I don't know what all the answers are, but we're going to keep chasing them.
Anybody else? So that being said, we need to formally adopt the ISO plan via vote, correct, Aaron?
That's correct.
Okay, so the ISO plan is due tomorrow. So that being said, I will entertain a motion to, well, I'll let you guys do it.
I would like to make a motion, we accept the chief's proposal, response to ISO in the second option.
No, draft 4.
Draft four.
Yeah.
That's the draft, right?
Draft 5.
Draft 5. Oh, yeah, there's that last.
Draft 5.
Thanks, Dan.
So we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I haven't voted. I think this is the right thing to do today. I will continue to have financial concerns that we need to work on over the coming months, but I think this is the right thing today. I'll vote aye.
Approve.
Approve.
So we've got 4-0 approved.
Okay.
Please get it submitted.
I'll send it out tomorrow morning.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, moving along to comments by citizens. First one up, Justin Collar.
Nothing further. Thank you for your time.
You know, Mr. Hahn, where are you?
We don't do social media and our lives are much happier. You guys would be on it enough. I'll say my comments to the next meeting.
Sure?
Bring it on, Mr. Hahn, come on.
All right, well, all right. If there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
One question, this new proposal, is that with an ambulance service or without an ambulance?
With ambulance.
Okay.
So they're staffing to support 4 people on fire apparatus, and with fill-in help, support the ambulance service as is. Chief, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Mr. President, I have something to
Yeah.
I'll make
As a
motion.
concerned citizen, just under comments, we are so eager to bash people when we don't like what they do or to complain about things, but we've got someone in the audience that is celebrating a birthday today, and he goes above and beyond in his position. Jimmy Hunter, our park superintendent, happy birthday, Jimmy. Anytime you drive by the parks, he goes above and beyond to help with anything and everything and make this town better. So thank you for all your work. And that's my citizen statement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
I'll
right,
make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Thank you all.
Good job, guys.
Should I just throw this